Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author Matt Adams.
And we welcome you into the Fairways of Life show, folks, from wherever you are joining us around the world. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Congrats to the Eagles. Taking down KC was trying for their historic three-peat. Didn't happen, so I ended up being, I really didn't have a dog in this race, but ended up being at a party that were all Eagles fans, which was obviously incredibly fun, because they were very much on the winning side of this thing. So before we went on the air today, we were talking about all this. You know, where do you watch it? Who do you watch it with? How many, Dom, you said how many people, don't exaggerate, because you said 160 million this morning. I'm not buying that number. How many people do you think will watch the Super Bowl, the ratings when they come out? Because I thought it was 128 last time.
It's always over 100 million.
Yeah.
But because of the blowout nature of the game, I would fully anticipate the numbers to be a little lower.
No, they're going to take the highest numbers. So the blowout doesn't matter. It matters whatever the peak was. If that happened before the blowout, fine. But I think that the numbers usually around 119 to 100. I thought it was 128. I saw a one-time high. There's no way it gets to 160 million. We're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think 120 is a reasonable guess.
Right? And so I was talking about the dynamic, and it's the same with golf, right? Any sport, really. I couldn't hear anything because, you know, we're at a party. So when I'm watching the game, I don't think it impacts the competition. And I mean this with all due respect, and I get the irony of a golf announcer saying this, that when I watch sports, I usually can't hear them or I don't have the sound on, because in our family room, in the interest of domestic tranquility, I actually have two televisions. One's mounted and one's on top of, like a table. So Donna can watch whatever she wants, and she has her sound on. Dancing with the Stars, Bachelor or Bachelorette, whatever. And that enables me to have a golf usually, but it could be anything, whatever sport I want to have in that upper right-hand corner. So I never hear the sound. I don't really feel like I miss it. And again, I'm not trying to criticize anybody and saying, I'm just being honest with you. So with the Super Bowl, I couldn't hear anything, and because of what I just described to you. There was this party going on, everybody's having fun. It didn't make any difference in terms of enjoying or consuming the progression of the game. And the fact is, I mentioned to you, I was surrounded by ardent Eagles fans. I had a running commentary and play-by-play going anyway. The impact it made on me was the commercials. And so when the commercials would come on, again, I have no sound. And my experience this morning talking to Dom about it was different than his experience watching it, where he said the commercials were awful. I'm not going to speak for you, Dom, but there's a level of hatred. You came into this morning reflecting on a Super Bowl that took place less than 12 hours prior with rage. Would that be accurate?
I think rage is kind of a strong word.
No. He kind of seemed rage-like.
I really,
here we go.
It strikes a nerve. I really struggle watching the Super Bowl every year because it has become a commercial joke.
Yes.
And I don't mean TV commercials. I mean commercialized garbage across the board.
Yeah.
It's just brutal to watch. The game takes forever, regardless of how good the football game is or is not. And the commercials are hard to watch. There's way too many of them. The halftime show is a sideshow and a joke and ridiculous. And I am getting older every year, and I'm starting to sound like I'm 87, but this is how it is, folks. I want to watch the football game. I don't care about the rest of it. I did not tune in to watch anything else other than the football game.
But you didn't even like the football game, dude. You said it was awful.
Yeah, but you can't control live sports. That's like TGL having a blowout. Like, you can't control it. Going into the game, I was anticipating it could be a really good game. I'm excited about it. It turned out to be a crappy football game. It's okay. It happens. It happens all the time in every sport. Sometimes you get a blowout. So that's fine. I'm not upset about the blowout. I'm upset about everything else that happened around it. It makes me furious. To be honest, really furious. I
See,
can't.
I literally used the word rage.
Rage? You said
told
rage.
me rage was too intense, and then he says,
Yes,
"I'm
rage
literally
is too
furious."
But
This
I
is
think
life with
rage
Dom. I'm furious.
No, I think furious is like a 6 on the scale, and rage is like 10. It's not rage.
I know furious is like so angry, your veins are like pumping in your head, which I noticed.
No. It's just very frustrating as a football fan, a lifelong American football fan, to watch this crap. It's really annoying. It's so sponsored and commercialized and predetermined and inauthentic. Every layer.
There you go. That was our update. So congratulations to the Eagles on their victory at the Super Bowl. I was happy for all my friends who are Eagles fans. Like I said, I didn't have a dog in that fight. So if Kansas City had won, for me, I think it'd be kind of cool to see a team do it 3 times. But I felt more aligned to the Eagles because of time and place. Right? But I'm that way. See, if my team's out in baseball, I want an American League team to win the World Series. You know? Like if the Rangers are out, I'd like the Bruins to win. Sorry if that offends you. So we got a lot to go through today. Thomas Detry closes out at the WM Phoenix Open. He won first PGA Tour victory, 67th career start on the PGA Tour. He has one on the DP World Tour, formerly known as the European Tour. His age, 32 years, 27 days, becomes the first player from Belgium to win on the PGA Tour. One of 2 players on tour from Belgium, the other, Adrien Dumont de Chassart. He birdies the final 4 holes to win by 7 strokes. One of 6 players who've done it 7 times to win the WM Phoenix Open by 7 or more shots. And this is kind of interesting. That's why I'm bringing it up. Winning margins, 14 shots. Anyone? Bueller? Johnny Miller, 1975. 14 shots. Think about that for a second. He won it by 12 shots in 1962, Arnold Palmer. Steve Jones won by 11 shots in 1997. Crazy, isn't it? Calc in 2001. I mean, Calc, I think he retired on that event. And then Detry with his 7 this year. J.B. Holmes did the same in 2006. Again, Calc with that margin back in 1989. That was the largest margin for victory on tour since Lee Hodges won the 23 3M Open by 7. So there's been a lot of first-time winners on tour this season. So it was just really interesting. I thought it was fun. I thought to see his family come running out, him picking him up and hugging him and all the rest was really cool. LIV, I thought was interesting. They were in Riyadh this week, and there was a lot to unpack there because we had, which I'll get to in just a second, we had the U.S. Open and the Open announce that they've created pathways for LIV players to be a part of the championship. Now, bear in mind, there were LIV players that were already exempt. If memory serves me, correct me if I'm wrong here, Dom, for the Open, I believe there's 7 LIV players already exempt. He's busy.
I'm just getting the list of.
Yeah,
I'm getting the list of names up. Relax.
Yeah,
Keep
I
talking.
know what's going on. I wasn't panicking. Andrew went into a panic, but he's got graphics up, so you can't tell. Andrew just heard silence for a second. When we used to do the radio side and something like that would happen, all the people on the tech side are ingrained to react. Whereas from an editorial side, that's called letting it breathe. So unless you're new in broadcasting, you don't generally panic when that happens. You're just like, yeah. And a lot of times when I'm doing an interview, if it's a particular poignant moment, I will let it hang. Well, the problem is that particularly when we used to be on the radio side in Sirius XM, that window, Dom's what, 30 seconds? So if you have 30 seconds of silence.
No, it was usually, I think it was 18 seconds.
18 seconds, whatever it was. But there was a
Yeah.
window of silence that the system said, there's a problem here. We have dead air. We need to dump to some like emergency. We're having technical problems.
That happened 3 times to us. I remember them.
Huh.
Happened 3 times. Where we were just doing what we're doing now, and the system was like, oh, they broke it. And then they just kicked us off the air.
Well, we did break it. Multiple times we actually
Whatever.
broke the
All right,
internet.
so here's to answer your question.
Yes.
And we can get into the details of this. But for the U.S. Open,
Yeah.
there are 7 live players already
US
exempt for
Open.
this
Nope.
year.
Got it?
Yeah. Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, John Rahm, Phil Mickelson, Cam Smith, and Richard Bland, because he's the defending champion of the U.S. Senior
Got
Open. Right now, and we're going to get into this, but Tyrrell Hatton is in the position to get the exemption that they're going to end up handing out to live players, and we're going to get into the details of what that means. On the Open Championship side,
Yes.
there are more players currently qualified exempt into the Open Championship. 12 of them, in fact. DeChambeau, Hatton, DJ, Brooks, Mark Leishman, Tom McKibben, who's a new member of LIV, Phil Mickelson, Joaquin Niemann, Louis Oosthuizen, John Rahm, Cam Smith, and Henrik Stenson.
Excellent. Okay.
Now, a lot of that's just ex-Open champions who I think get exemptions until they're 65 or something.
So there's more to unpack too with LIV Riyadh, which Adrian Maronk won convincingly. John Rahm's Legion 13 won convincingly. And remember, they've changed the scoring for the teams so that all the scores now count, which I like. I think that was a good move. It was a smart move. It was a right move in my view. So I saw some of the media stuff coming out. You know, they were talking about LIV being on FS2, and initially there were 12,000 people watching. And my reaction was, wait a minute. You have weird time zones on the lesser channel of the Fox array, because they've got a number of different options, obviously. And this is on top of everything else, this is the first time that they're doing it. They had the golf at night, which again, I like that kind of stuff. I know that there's people that are really traditional with that, and they get upset when they see different things and things that are new. Okay, that's fine. That's your choice. I'm not judging you for what your opinion is. I'm just saying it's not mine. I think it was cool to see it different. I'm really curious. I'd love to talk to some of the players and find out what it's like when you have shots where the ball reaches its apex. Does it ever go out of the dome of light? And is that unsettling in some way? You know, because you hit a golf shot and you're used to following it and you have a sense whether it's going to be short or long or left or right. And do the lights in any way blunt your senses to be able to account for that? So the rating stuff to me is still much ado about nothing because it's too soon to make the judgment. And for those that would feel compelled to, send off all types of emergency alarms, I think you have to wait until they get to Australia, which is becoming, I think it's fair to say, their biggest event. Well, wait till at some point, does LIV kind of make a decision that this is going to be one of our majors? I mean, the PGA Tour has basically done that with the players. It's their major. They won't call it a major, but it's definitely theirs, right? So LIV could do that if they wanted to. Anyway, so I think you have to wait until you see an event of that scale to make a judgment. Yeah, see that? See the highlight that Andrew's running? Now, what's different about LIV is when they hit a ball, it has that white tail, so they can see what happens. So, but I am. That's obviously Marone. I am curious at that question I was asking about when it shoots up in the air and so forth. So, 2 things. One is when LIV gets to Australia, it just hits differently there. The next thing is, which is probably even more important, if you're going to compare primarily like to 98% domestic ratings, wait until you have a domestic comparison. If you're going to compare ratings, wait until you have at least an equivalent platform, which they're going to have. It's in the offing. So that's what I was just saying. It just struck me because it was a big news item, and it's been coming out, and you always have to suspect with as politically and economically charged as subjects like golf and the different leagues are right now in the game. Does someone that's going to take that strong a discerning view have a vested interest in implanting such a position? Which I think, if anything, we have learned over the last few years that people are smarter than simply adopting the opinion that you want them to have because it serves whatever purposes you have. Just tell people the truth and let them decide, what works or doesn't work for them, what they agree with, what they don't agree with. I don't even know in any facet of life where we have that today. But I wish we did. I talk about it all the time on the news side. I really wish there was a source of news where I didn't get a slant or a bias one way or the other. I wish you could just tell me what was going on and let me decide on my own without you having to compel upon me what my opinion should be. So in any event, that was what was happening there. Yealimi Noh wins first LPGA victory. That was at the Founders Cup. Hers was a convincing victory, too. 4 shots over Jin Young Ko. And then we have some more news items to go through. When we come back, I want to go through these new exemption pathways that we're talking about. I want to go through some news with Tiger, et cetera. Dom just said in my headset, he's got the question of the day, which is, I already know what it is, Dom. The question of the day is, have any of you noticed Dom's new on-air light over his back left shoulder? Have any of you noticed? Is that it, Dom? Did I nail it? No, I'd like to know it now.
Okay, sorry. My mic was off.
Yes.
My mic was off.
Yes, that's
the whole time.
What Dom said about that was...
This was no words. There's no words for this part.
No, there's no words for that. It was your mouth moving with nothing coming out, which usually is when he's yelling at me and Andrew, because right now he has a stuffy nose, and we had the audacity to suggest that it was... I think Andrew said it was an amoeba. I said he has long COVID, and Dom said it's not funny to make fun of someone who has sinus issues. So I apologize.
Yes, to both of those things. Yeah. So what I was saying is that it's, the question of the day was not about, in fact, me.
Shocking.
But I do have a question of the day. Do you want to hear it now?
I would like to hear it before the break.
Or do you want to save it?
No, I'd like to hear it before the break so people can go on to the Fairways of Life YouTube channel and vote on it if they so choose.
It has to do with the LIV Golf exemption that you intimidated at. LIV Golf is one full exemption in the U.S. Open and the Open.
Yeah.
That's what they're getting right now, one exemption. Is that enough? / what should it be? Yes, one is perfect. That's the correct amount of exemptions for LIV Golf. No, they deserve none. They should get around 5 is another option, and they should get around 10 is another option.
You did 4? You can go 4 questions
4.
on that? I didn't know this.
Yes.
This is going to change
4
everything
options,
about the... I always thought it was 3 question of the day.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
Dramatic.
Okay, so if you guys want to weigh in on that, we will discuss that and more, including news of Tiger Woods teeing it up as the Fairways of Life show continues on this Monday.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Super easy to hit. Introducing the new PXG Black Ops irons, our first game improvement iron.
It's a larger face heel to toe.
It launches the ball high in the air and really far.
Much higher levels of forgiveness. You set that club down, creates a lot of confidence. It's supported by this X-Core polymer material.
And that's where you get improved ball speed. If you're looking for a distance, forgiveness, and feel, Black Ops iron is going to be for you.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
All right, welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. Got a lot to go over with you. I do have sound coming in from the winners around the world. Tomorrow, we got a huge show coming up for you. Huge. Another Hall of Famer is going to be with us. And I love it. I love the Hall of Famers because they all have that kind of get off my grass type of thing, the older ones. They're like, yeah, when I used to play. So I'm looking forward to those conversations. I have fun with them, and we're going to go deep into it. As to these exemptions, let's, Andrew, you guide me down which path you want me to go in terms of the exemptions coming in. This was from the R&A, 2025 qualifications for the Open. This year, a new category, quoting, has been introduced, which will enable players competing in LIV Golf to earn a place in the Open. The leading player not already exempt in the top 5 of the 2025 individual season standings following the completion of LIV Golf Dallas will be awarded a place in the 153rd Open. The new exemption complements existing qualification routes through the FedEx Cup on the PGA Tour, the Race to Dubai, and the DP World Tour, and the International Federation ranking for players competing on the Asian Tour, Japan Golf Tour, PGA Tour of Australasia, and the Sunshine Tour. Close quote. The USGA exemption for 2025 is as follows, quoting, 2025 U.S. Open, one full exemption awarded to the top player who is not otherwise exempt and in the top 3 of the 2025 LIV Golf individual standings as of May 19, 2025. In addition, a local exemption will be awarded to the top 10 players from the 25 LIV Golf individual standings as of April 7th, 2025. In 2026, essentially what they're saying is that they're going to take into account rolling prior year, current year to make the same determination of those who would get the exemption fine. So Dom asked the question of the day, is one exemption enough? Bearing in mind, now we had the conversation of 7, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 U.S. Open, 12 exempt into the Open, add a number on top of each one of those because of this new exemption, which the governing bodies that are offering. What are you getting back in terms of your question of the day and the voting you guys can do on our Fairways to Life YouTube channel.
First of all, I don't think I would count the exemptions that exist on their own.
No, you don't. But it
You know
still
what I mean?
represents how many live players are going to be there, but it doesn't have any bearing on this. I would agree with you on that. Carry on.
LIV Golf has one full exemption to the Open of the U.S. Open, as this just defined by Matt. Is that enough? Where should it be, if it needs to be changed at all? Yes, these are the 4 options. Yes, 1 is perfect. Is my mic on? Okay. I screwed that up last time.
Yeah, good job.
2, second option. No, they deserve none. Third option, they should get like around 5 exemptions. Or the fourth option is, they should get around like 10 exemptions. Right now, 17% say 1 is perfect. 29% say none. They should be getting nothing. 12% think they should get around 10. And 42%, leader in the clubhouse, say they should get around 5. What say you, Matt Adams?
What say I is that people are going to view this through the spectrum, again, of politics and opinions and agendas. The reality of what should be going on here is, in my view, a higher purpose, which is we want to ensure that the most important events in the game of golf have a field that represents the best players in the world competing against each other, so that we can know, as we step away, if we're said governing body of XYZ major, that we can walk away with our head held high and say, we made sure that the best in the world had an avenue to and or were invited into, exempt, if you please, for, wording-wise, semantics, into said Open. So to me, that's the higher calling, right? And that's why when I started the conversation, the first thing I wanted to know is how many players for these 2 majors that we're discussing this morning are already getting in, right? And again, it doesn't have a direct bearing to me on how many deserve to go in. If a proper analysis is going to be done is if you look at it and you base it off World Golf Rankings, you say, well, 60 and under get in, or 50 and under get in. Well, what is that in an equivalent field that's a smaller field week to week, or tournament to tournament, better put, with LIV? What's the comparison? So to directly answer your question, 1 seems too small to me. Having said that, I do think that this is a very, very significant move. It is step 1. Just like I was talking about in the last segment, if someone were to look at LIV and go, oh my gosh, their ratings were abysmal, 12,000, blah, blah, blah. And I look at it and go, yeah, yawn, time zones, outlet. It doesn't mean anything yet. It doesn't mean anything. It was almost a beta test. It was a test run. So in this case, the fact that 2 of golf's governing bodies, and the fact that they came up with the same number also doesn't surprise me, but the 2 of golf's governing bodies have come up with a mechanism that, whilst I may feel it's still too small, at least it is a first and significant step. Because remember, when all this was starting, the first stuff that we were all hearing was a common refrain of how this impacts golf's ecosystem, which I've told you a million times, to me is nothing more than corporate speak of we want to keep everything the same and want to keep the power the way that it's currently structured. And regardless of whether you are for LIV or against LIV, it doesn't make any difference, in my view, in this conversation. This is directly about the history of the game and the credibility of that major championship. Was every deserving player, and that is based upon ability, likelihood. Were they represented in that field? And did they have a mechanism to be represented in that field? Now, you can go out and qualify, so you can begin and end the conversation there if you want to. But if you're going to begin and end that conversation there, then you got to make sure that all sides are facing the same degree of restriction, that it's not based on some punishment or opinion that you don't think they should be there because of a choice they made. right? Otherwise, then you're not looking out for the best interests of the major. You're looking out for some other best interest or opinion that you hold. What are you hearing from the people, Dom?
Lots of stuff. All right. Some comments coming in about Riyadh and watching and enjoying the night golf.
It was unique, I thought.
One example. What? Say
It's unique. It's the same thing that I get when people ask me about TGL. And people who are very traditional consumers of the games don't like TGL, to which you know my opinion on that. It's a buffet. If you don't want to consume that particular piece of it, move on down the line.
Well, the players on both, like in the under the lights, this is what I noticed, and on TGL.
I like these highlights that
when they're forced into a different environment, they do struggle. There was a lot of shorter-ish putts, I thought, that were missed.
Which
event?
The LIV event? TGL?
The LIV event.
Oh, the LIV event. Okay, because of the lighting, you're thinking. Yeah, I got you.
Because they're just not used to it. The shadows. I think they struggled reading the greens from close. And the same thing going on with TGL. There's the surface is, generally speaking, just turf surfaces, and they're struggling a lot.
Well,
with
I think
that
I've said this before.
Too.
I think there's an issue with TGL's surface around their green. The ball does not react the way it does on Mother
it's like
Earth.
Turf. And these guys are struggling, I thought, at Riyadh, reading the greens at night under lights with shadows. And
that makes sense.
I'm not saying any of it's bad. I'm just saying that when you're taking these guys and throwing them into an environment that is very unusual for them, they're trying to figure it out. And that's not good or bad. It just is what it is. Surfstat says, one exemption is ridiculous. It should be their top 20 on their money list, at least. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. 20. But I can understand not thinking one is enough. Let's see here. The LIV Golf should be getting a minimum of 8 spots. Okay. 10 would be a significant move, they write. The RNA announced their exemptions today as well. Yes, I know. We just went over them. Let me give you another update on the question of the day. 21% are now saying 1 is good. 25% are saying none. 18% are getting 10, and it's still 36% still in the lead. They should be getting around 5 is what the people are saying. And I would tend to agree with the people. I do think 5 is probably the right number. And the way I look at it, Matt, is I wouldn't say different than you, but similar a little bit. When I look at the majors,
all the bases with that, then.
Well, I think that if you look at like the Asian Tour Order of Merit, the Race to Dubai, rankings, money list, the FedEx Cup list, where you're going to draw the best talent from, who belongs on the major championship stage,
right?
Who deserves who has the right to play in the biggest events. If you look at all those lists, I think it pulls kind of the right amount. Like there's not a huge amount of people from the Asian Tour Order of Merit getting there, and you see that reflected. If you go down the top 20 in the Order of Merit on the Asian Tour, none of them are playing in majors, and the ones that are not making noise, if you will. But if you look at the Race to Dubai, or you look at the FedEx Cup standings, you will see names further down the list, 15th in the rankings, for example, that do show up at the majors and do have a showing. They play well. And when I think about it in those terms, I do think the number 4 LIV should be 5, because you essentially have 4 players who are showing up in the last 3 years and really playing well. Brooks Koepka, John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Cam Smith. They deserve to be in all the majors. When they play well. Some of them have wins recently.
They
championships.
wouldn't be part of this conversation. We'd be talking about, in your case, 5 players outside of people who are exempt for what they've already done in majors.
Yes, but my point is you've got roughly 5 players from that particular tour, that feeder tour, whatever, again, however you want to define that, and they are showing up and competing at a high level at the majors. If you go further down the list on the Asian Tour Order of Merit or on the LIV individual standings, you're going to find guys who, when they've played in majors, can't even make a cut. So why should you be giving 15 exemptions if you've got guys that when they get the opportunity are failing miserably,
I think
they're taking spots
what
away.
you're
if
trying
they do
to
it that
say
way.
is back to my comment that exemption for a much smaller field should still be equivalent to the exemption percentage that you're giving to other tours, so that there's an equity there and there's a balance. Which again, my comments on
sort
this
of.
is,
I'm not necessarily looking for an equity or a balance. What I'm looking for is the best players in the world to play in the best events.
Right,
I
but-
want all of the best there.
yeah,
And if
but
you
the bottom line
pull
of our whole
15 guys from the Asian Tour and 15 guys from the LIV Tour, you're not going to get the best players in the world doing it that way. You're just not.
well, again, the discussion we're having here is that the number that they've currently settled upon is not enough. So
Yeah, I
that
agree with that.
so that my point is, this is about protecting the majors, not protecting ecosystems or any other agenda. It's our highest calling in the game are the major championships. So how do we make sure that someone I'm still a little confused on what you're saying in terms of judging their ability to compete in an event that they haven't been in yet, but so that someone that has demonstrated that they have the skills to be on that stage gets the opportunity. And again, I can hear the people out there clamoring, the 21% or whatever you said the last checkup, that are saying then they should go qualify, which I realize that option is there. And many do attempt to qualify and actually get through qualifying too, to their credit. But that is not a be-all and end-all of that discussion unless you force all those who are eligible for exemptions and qualifying to go through that same path. You see what I'm saying? Because otherwise all you're doing is saying, no. The pathways, as they call it, into is reserved for the people that I support. All you other guys, if you want to get in, then you guys have to go qualify. There's qualifying out there. Don't complain. Right? So I just thought it's really interesting. Just give me one more look at your voting, Dom. So then I want to move on to some other stuff.
I'll just read a few more comments coming in. The U.S. Open is allowing for 10 local qualifiers for this year's event. What does that mean? You want to explain what that means, Matt?
The local qualifiers, it's step by step before we get to ultimately we're going to wrap it all up with the final qualifying. And the U.S. Open will have this year, I'm going to guess, probably 10,000 entries into the national championship. Think about that for a second. Let that settle. So they'll probably have 10,000 entries, and they will start at the local level competing. And it's an absolute grind. And every single year, that's one of the things that makes it so much fun. You're going to have the Cinderella stories. And then ultimately, we're going to have, which is amazing, what we call Golf's Longest Day. And that was Matt Hagerty is the one that came up with that, actually. He's one of the producers that I work for at Golf Channel. And it's where we have reporters at all of these sites from coast to coast and internationally as well. And they check in and they tell us about what's going on. Now, some of the international ones happen but nonetheless, they check in with us and tell us what's going on at their respective sites. Can the Cinderella story continue? Can somebody capture lightning in a bottle? Can they earn their way into the U.S. Open? It very, very rarely happens because ultimately what the USGA is trying to do with the U.S. Open is vet it so that at the end of the day, it's the best of the best. But you get plenty of amateurs. Most of them are college players or what have you. All right. That make it. It's incredible. Golf's Longest Day last year, because I was doing the studio hosting of it, was exhausting because you're literally on the air for 12 hours straight with everything coming at you, all this news and everything else that's going on. But in reflection, it's such an incredibly significant day because it speaks to, in this case, I'm not talking about exemptions now. I'm talking about the process of trying to qualify. It speaks to ultimate freedom. This is about you going out and earning what you get. And it's tremendous. It really is tremendous. What else you got, Dom?
All right, so 5 is the right number. Derek believes, for LIV players getting exemptions. Hydro Golf says, right on, Matt. This is my take as well. And then there's some complaints about the official World Golf rankings being biased and political, which I do think they are very political. Remember, Trevor Immelman is taking them over shortly. Maybe he'll make some adjustments.
Well, we've got to see if the
know.
new CEO of LIV wants to re-enter an application too, or if they were just so fed up with it, with nothing happening, that they pulled away from it. So we shall see.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick break here, folks. When we come back, let's talk about what Tiger's going to be doing this week.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The best feeling iron I've ever hit. Introducing the new Gen 7 irons, the greatest leap forward in irons technology, in performance, in PXG history. Our new quantum core material explodes off the face. Are you kidding me? The Gen 7 irons deliver groundbreaking new levels of forgiveness, speed, distance, and feel. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that trajectory. Just phenomenal. Gen 7. It doesn't get any better.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
Welcome back. That's coming up this week. Genesis Invitational Signature Event. 7 at the top 10 of the official World Golf Rankings. Top 10 in FedEx Cup check. The venue, of course, Torrey Pines for this signature event. Special exemptions that we know about. Gary Woodland, Minwoo Lee, Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, and Tiger Woods. Yeah, Tiger announcing that he was going to play again at Torrey Pines. I don't know what to... Oh, yeah, Dom was just reminding everybody that... was that on the air, or was that just to me, Dom, that you said that? Oh, I thought that was on the air. You can go on the air and say that stuff. It doesn't bother me. That this was originally at Riviera because the fires had moved it down the road to Torrey Pines.
Yeah.
And So, Andrew, throw that graphic back up there again so I can see that, if you would. It's just interesting looking at the exemptions. I mean, Tiger, Spieth, and Fowler are totally about ratings and the popularity, right? And Tiger, I mean, you get it. It's his event. Minwoo is becoming very popular. I think it's a smart move internationally. Gary Woodland, everybody's on board with, coming back from the brain surgery and the tumor. And what that means. I do think that Ricky's got to start doing something, though, or else you start to lose the credibility of your exemptions, and it still looks like the old boys network. You know? It's a no-cut event, but you've got to do something that means something of significance with that. So, I don't know, Dom, I'm not sure when we'd get a chance to discuss it. Maybe Wednesday? I'd love to get a sense from the people of what their feeling is about Tiger Woods. I mean, we know how the press conference is going to go. They're going to be like, hey, Tiger, you know, they're going to ask him the same question. The question is going to be like, are you at the point now where it's just about being here? Where it's ceremonial, and Tiger's going to be like, I'm here to win. I wouldn't tee it up unless I thought I could win. Everyone goes, oh, okay. And then, you know, Tiger either doesn't play well or something happens, and he goes, guys, my back has been operated on multiple times. And I'm always like, Tiger, you just told us you wouldn't be here unless you were. He's like, come on, what do you expect? Right? How many times have we seen that? I'm not doing a bit here. I'm just telling you that's how it goes. So, but he's playing and he's teeing it up. Am I excited about it? Yeah, I am. I like that it's a West Coast event. I like that we'll get a chance to watch it deeper into the afternoon, early into the evening-ish. So, yeah. I think it's pretty cool. And we'll see how it plays itself out. I hope that's PGA Tour Live, ESPN Plus. I really hope that Tiger is one of the featured groups or marquee group. I would think it would be, but I'm never sure how that works, and I work for them, how those choices are made. I should ask that when I'm there sometimes. Hey, how do you decide?
They probably pull straws like, oh, Tiger again. Unbelievable coincidence.
But you want that, don't you?
The people do want that. I don't know why at this point.
What do you mean you don't know why? I want that. Ask me.
At this point, I don't understand. I would rather see
Thomas Detry?
I could probably list. I could list 10 players I'd rather watch their round than Tiger right now.
Save that.
You want me to give you?
No. I'm not going down that road. I'm not taking the bait.
Well. All right. Let's make this real easy.
Yeah. Let
real
me
easy.
try
Would
to
you
come at
rather
you from a
watch
different
Rory
direction.
play?
So I get you.
Would you rather watch Rory play the first round, shot for shot, or Tiger? Who would you rather watch right now?
I'm not going down this road today. I'm leaving this alone.
Because on with this garbage.
No, listen to me. This has fertile ground for a much better discussion than a quick hit.
I guess there's some interest in the possibility of like watching an injury unfold live.
Stop it, Don.
Kind of like football, right? You're like, oh, he ripped his head off. Whoa, let's see the replay of that.
No, I think it'd be more equivalent to like a car wreck in a race, like NASCAR. Rubbing is racing.
I mean, you're just kind of, I mean, at least for me, that's where I am with Tiger now. I'm sort of waiting for that. I'm waiting for, it's cold, it's rainy, it's not a great day. He rotates and his back just goes.
I'm not taking the bait.
What about like Jason Day? Would you rather watch Jason Day play?
It's just he can't help himself.
10 holes or Tiger?
He can't help himself because
especially if Tiger just flails one up into the woods on his first shot. You're just like, here we go. At least with Spieth, you're like, maybe he'll hit putter out of the woods and make par.
Even when Tiger was at the height of his run, which we all loved and had lots of fun with, when he started playing bad, I used to say this all the time on the air. I'd say Tiger was like De Niro, like out there on, because when the swing starts going bad, he starts playing bad. All of a sudden, Tiger like is snapping bones. He's like, dude, oh, that's Tiger. There's a drama element to it. There's a self-protection element to it, and that's important to an athlete. It's never me. I get it. Seen it. I am amused.
I feel like you like that.
I'm amused by the
humor
humor of what I described to you of, I'm just here to win. And then 3 days later, he's scolding the media for being like, Tiger, did you expect more from yourself? How can I expect more from myself?
I find it interesting that no other player has picked up that persona. Like, there's no one on tour now when they sit with the media, no one on any of the tours that goes, I'm here to win, I'm going to win, I'm going to win. None of them say that.
You are incorrect,
Who's saying
sir.
that?
Brooks.
Who's saying that?
Brooks has no problem saying that.
No, he only says that at majors. He doesn't say it at regular
That's because he
events.
barely talks in the other
He
events.
he doesn't say, I can't wait to win this LIV event. He doesn't care. He just wants to win the Masters.
Yeah, but,
That's
if he talks at any other event, it's just grunts and clicks. He doesn't, at a major, he sits in front. He's also, we should have like Connor Moore just do a whole comedy skit on that, because Brooks sits in front. He seems totally disengaged and uninterested and slightly disgusted that he has to answer any questions at all from these fat guys that don't know what they're talking about. And they're like, Brooks, since you haven't won a major in, what was it, 3 majors? 4, perhaps? Do you feel like it's time? I feel like it's time every time. Do you feel like your game is in any way lacking from the height where every major you were in the mix, if not winning? I feel like I'm still there. Checks notes, disgusting face.
I don't think that counts. I don't think it counts.
He has absolutely unabashed bravado. Unabashed.
That's
love it.
true. That's
love
true.
it.
That part's true.
I love that
Should
he
we
looks
play some
annoyed
sound?
when he talks to the media. I'm not playing any sound today.
Oh, all right. We got a lot of sound. We can hear from the people who live, the people who went on the tour. Spieth played okay. Justin Thomas played pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not playing those guys.
Stuff happened. No?
No. What I will do is since you brought it up, I'll let Andrew stack our sound, starting with Thomas Detry.
He'll just post it. Andrew, you just leave it, make it available for people. They can watch it.
Right, fine.
We don't have to
I didn't
shove
want to do it
into the
anyway.
show. Yeah, if you're not going to do it, we're not going to do it. Why are you forcing it?
I'm not. I'm literally the guy saying I didn't want to do it.
Let the people watch. Let them watch when they feel like they want to watch. I mean,
That's what we do.
Like,
That's what our whole vibe is.
Yeah. Let them do what they want to do.
So the piece of just so you know, the bait that I wasn't taking from Dominic, despite his best efforts.
You took a little bit of it. We've been talking for like 10 minutes.
No, this is where I'm going, though. Wait till you hear me finish my sentence. Was that we had a conversation one day, which was as follows. Talk about a question of the day. Are you ready for this, folks? Get ready. So I want you to contemplate, talk amongst yourselves. Which Dom tells me everyone does, which is classic. The question is, if you could have something happen in the game of golf, anything in the game of golf happen, one thing, but anything.
This year.
This year. What would it be? And my immediate response was.
I want to stress anything.
Right. And my immediate response was Tiger to win a major again, Tiger to win at Augusta. Right? That would be it. Convinced was I that would be the answer. From me and from everybody else. That would be it. Dom said no. And so he was trying to get me to take the bait and go down the road of that conversation today. And I said no, because we're going to do it, but we're not going to do it right now.
There's never enough time. The only time is now.
You guys have a great one. Thanks for joining us this Monday. Until we are together again, be well. Goodbye. For now.